we have right now, we have 15 minutes of debate as a roundtable. You know that this first Congress, it has been conceptualized as a Congress that it will be very, very executive in the sense that we have presentations of 10 minutes. And we will have this roundtable this time to make several approaches. So I do not know if some of you have some questions for some of your colleagues. So you can open your mics and you can ask whenever you need. I would like to ask you something that it was being written in the chat by Dennis O'Keefe from NHS Ireland, that he was talking about the importance of digital twin in hospitals. So any of you who has some experience in creating some system of a digital twin inside one hospital, one clinic, some health environment? Don't feel shy.
Well, I have some experience with software called the Rofus and specifications about hospitals. And these are construction with a very intensive, a lot of installations together, some of them very critical. So you thinking about the possibilities of simulation in those environments are huge, okay? And they have more intensive money per square meter, so it could be very well justified. In fact, in Sphere, we had at the middle of last year a model for a hospital in Madrid. We didn't have still the demo pilots, so we were testing for the hospital Ramón y Cajal a ventilation system. And it was very interesting because there were some waiting rooms for many people. And the intention of the work was to do a waiting room for this COVID situation with an extremely perfect, concentration of air and CO2 in order to dilute as much as possible the viruses in the waiting room. So the possibilities are huge. It is the message.
Mm-hmm.
Peter, I saw that you were about to say something as well.
Yes, and it's also Walter. Yeah, in general, I think the hospital is not so well. It is different from any other building, but it uses the same methodology. The main difference is your critical systems primarily, I think, and nothing can fail. But there are more buildings in which nothing can fail in any case. But I would in any case go ahead also for the systems part.
Yeah, and I want to introduce a second question. That is about digital twin and digital twinning, no? In the sense that how we can give constant information to the digital twin. No? And there has been some experiences about this, and we are generating teras of information. How do you think that we have to deal with this huge amount of information? Sometimes that can be unuseful because you are taking the temperature of one room twice per minute during 24 hours, no, per day, and probably there is nobody in that room during 1 month. So how do you envision the future of this amount of data and this relationship with IoT and Internet of Things and all the sensors? This is an open question, so
go there.
Yeah.
Go there.
Yeah. So we also face the problem. So we have like districts with like 100,000 dwellings where we have energy data from, but also in if you have an office building, big office building, you have a lot of sensors. And you have always has to have a good strategy. So one of the things is that you don't load all the data directly. That you choose a certain period. And for instance, we use the last month or the last week. And then also, we do like how do you call it? Optimize the data also for calibration. So what is the less frequency you can use, but also which variable are relevant. And so the strategy of using the data is a lot of effort, because otherwise I recognize that you get huge overflows of data, and your system cannot work with it. So thinking about that and also limiting it, and sometimes you need you only need like a week of data, and not all the points as for instance, an office building. If you have working periods which may be most relevant, and for other periods you can use maybe less frequency. Yeah. So the strategy for the calibration is most important.
Andrew, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I think just quickly, I think one of the most important things when we think about the amount of data, I think it was Raphael's presentation, and probably the only one where we described the physical twin. So we're talking about the digital twin and the digital twin, but the physical twin, the building. So there's all this data available, and it's the physical twin that drives which bit of that data is important. So where in the physical twin, like Walter just said, which of these apartments do we want to focus on, or which is it the car park, is it the place? So I think by bearing in mind the physical twin, we can improve the information we have on the digital twin.
Yeah. And this is also another open question for all of you. Do you think that mainly digital twin will be related to energy problems or energy issues? Raphael, what do you think about that?
No, I don't, certainly. I think that there are so many areas of our life that are going to be aided by managing through the digital twins. I mean, it's enough to think about our cars, our trains, our airports, our airplanes, many of which already are operated by systems that are similar to what we have in mind as digital twins. But we mentioned hospitals a moment ago, and you question what kind of data. I think that we will begin to see that the real value comes in integration of data sources from different fields. So for example, we have information about the building, the hospital. We have information about the HVAC and other systems, but we also have information from, let's call them digital twins of patients and of their medical records and their recovery. Can we look for correlations? And people already do this, look for correlations between who recovers and they have a window in the room looking out on the garden and who doesn't. And so many other things that we could be looking for in the same way that people are looking for drug discovery by searching thousands and thousands of combinations of molecules. You could be doing the same, looking for correlations between the physical environment and actual outcomes for people. And when it comes to building construction, it's clearly not only about the construction project. We deal with construction industries which are multi-projects. So an individual contractor works on one project manager, and we tend to focus on that as our digital twin. But the subcontractors in that site are working on many projects in parallel. And the suppliers of concrete and wood and all sorts of other things, they're supplying many sites. And that links into the traffic in the city and so on. So that we're really talking about, in the end, systems of systems where we may have a digital twin of a construction industry in a local environment, in a city. And all of these things will benefit from greater productivity, greater efficiencies of management when we're able to integrate them.
Yeah. And Miguel Angel, I would like to ask you about these systems that Raphael was saying now, no? How we can do, if it's difficult to have right data in the right time, in a clear and transparent way, etc., as you were pointing out before, how we can ensure this trustworthy of not one system, but a system of systems?
Oh, well, basically, I think that the requirements are the same, but it becomes more complicated. The thing with trustworthiness is that it's something that should be incorporated in the very early design of the system. It's not something that you can consider later, because they might be decisions that that affect not only the operation, the everyday operation, but it is also affecting how you conceive the digital twin in itself. And when you have several systems, maybe an additional problem that comes is if you want to make them interoperable, then they are exchanging information. And then the problems you have in the edges for a single system, let's say that complicate because there are systems talking to each other. And then maybe this system cannot reliably consider or be certain that this data that is coming from here is trustworthy, or if the data they are interchanging may have a global impact. So having several systems is also a problem of managing the uncertainty that systems interchanging information, let's say, are doing. But if you have a way of making the data traceable or fully transparent in each of them, then it is possible. But the problem is that the weakest link or the weakest of the systems could be, let's say, what is determining the maximum threshold of trustworthiness. So again, this should be considered if there are several systems integrated from the beginning.
Well, this is something very, very interesting, because when we will have to talk about this new culture of digital twins. So.